Hi friends, it's Pam with Silver and Sparkles. Welcome. I am back with day 5 of Creating with Intention or Create with Intention. So this is a series that I started this month in February of 2026. And we are using some prompts that I came up with to help kind of refocus and enjoy crafting time and kind of, I don't know, spend time with ourselves and why we, and for me, why I create, right? So a couple of things. If you're new to this series, there is a playlist if you want to go back and get caught up and see what we've been doing. In the first video, I did alter a composition notebook, and I've actually been doing my projects in here. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that the whole time, but I am loving it. So I think I'm going to keep going with that theme. There's that sampler we made. So that fun. And then this was the last one, which was use what you have. And I did some altered library cards. And we're going to talk about what we're going to do today for day 5. And I didn't really number these, so I guess if you want to, do them in any order. If you would like some intention cards, they are available for free as a digital download that you print at home over on Buy Me a Coffee. That'll be linked for you in the video description. And if you don't have a way to print and you really want these, they're not necessary to, to do the intentions and play along, but they are available as a print and ship option over my Etsy shop. So I'll link that as well. So anyway, you've got a couple of options, but you can also just do whatever feels right for you. And I read the intentions and go over them. So today we are going to do Tell a Tender Story. So the thoughts there are: let your project whisper something meaningful, a memory, a feeling, a quiet moment. Stories don't need much. Sometimes simple says enough. Okay, and I already kind of have something in mind that I'm going to be thinking about as I create. And I am going to introduce some fun, different things for me anyway, than what I normally do. Some mixed media kind of stuff. So I do have out my gesso today. I have out my nori paste that I'm going to use because it's a slow drying, so I can hopefully get some fun layers going, and we'll see how I do. Now, off camera, I prepped my page because I wanted it to hopefully be dry enough to work on, but I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to do this process outside of the journal, and then we'll come back and I'll finish the journal page. I want to show you how I did this. So again, when I altered my composition notebook, I made the pages nice and chunky by using Mod Podge and gluing pages together. So again, if you want to see how I did that and how I covered it, that's in that first video. And I'm using some Mozart music from this book today. We're going to be talking a little bit about some memories I have of my mom. And today, her name, I've mentioned her name's Sally, but kind of this little story about her. But she loved music and Mozart. And I picked this up. I'm not sure where I picked it up, but I know where I got it. $4. I got it at a little place in DeLand, Florida. I remember the shop well. So a lot of these are from some of the Psalms. So anyway, which is something else she loved. So anyway, I just pulled out a page and I'm using that. I was trying to see what year this was that it was published, but I don't see that. If you guys see it and I'm just missing it because I'm too close to it, let me know. But that's okay. It's actually fairly sturdy. So I've layered that, and I've done some gesso using my, I say gesso. Do y'all say gesso or gesso? I don't know. Some stencils and things. So we're going to play with that. I'm going to show you this process, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to hopefully make this look really pretty. I'm going to let that dry even more. Now this is just parchment paper, and you saw I had it in between the pages. mine's almost dry. I mean, it's pretty dry. But when I put it away earlier, I wasn't quite sure, and I wanted to be able to turn the pages so this won't stick to it. But I'm also going to just put it down because I make a mess when I'm doing this. So I just got myself some scrapbook paper, and these are some of the pieces that I have a whole bunch of. And again, this is just to show you guys what I did, but then I'll probably end up using these to make tags and other things out of. But I'm just using this for the base because it's kind of thick and will help me. And I want some of this music. There's a lot of amens. I like this page. I'm just kind of tearing them out as I go. I'm sure I could take the book apart. I think it's just stapled. Yeah, see those really old staples? And I may do that later so that I have some larger pieces I can work with. All right, so for my journal page, I, tore this to, fit as well as it will on that size paper. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And I don't really want the white piece, and it wasn't quite big enough, so then I just layered some other book page under there, and I kind of have a little different edge, so that was fun. And in fact, I'll probably just tear this one intentionally more narrow. Save all these little pieces, don't you worry. Now, a lot of people I know don't have access to these types of things. I love to thrift and yard sale, and my husband's so funny whenever he sees me when I find the books or anything paper related. He's like, oh, we're going to be here a while. But, there's a lot of, paper kits and even scrapbook paper that have things that look like music, digital paper kits and things. So if you have one of those that has a piece in it, print it and use it, however you, would like. But I think it's fun. And of course we can be adding ink and doing all kinds of things. But again, for my purposes, I just want to show you what I did to get the project started. Now, I'm just reaching over to some of my scraps, and I'm trying to find maybe, different kind of book page pieces. Let's see. It's approximately the right height. I mentioned this in another video recently, but I kind of cleared my desk off, and it's causing me all kinds of issues finding things, which is so funny because, you would think it would be just the opposite, right? But not so, my friends, not always so. All right, I'm going to stick that down and then I'll trim it off or tear it off. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. I don't use it that often, but a lot of people use it like when they're working with really delicate tissues, and I believe it even says that use sparingly, a little goes a long way. For perfectly flat results, press item under a heavy object while the base dries. Delicate papers and tissues, it won't soak through fabric, it washes. So I've watched lots of videos on different creators that use it. It is thick, but I've got my paintbrush just in some water and that will thin it. But like that do like the beautiful watercolors and then want to matte them. I've watched them do all kinds of stuff. But for my purposes, I decided to just use it kind of like a Mod Podge, right? And I want to, when I start layering over in my actual project where the gesso has hopefully dried, right? I wanted something like this. So we're just going to play with it. You can get it at arts and crafts stores. I believe Amazon has it. I'll try to link it for you guys in the video. So again, lots of options and different things for adhesives. You can use your Mod Podge. You use what you have. Don't feel like you need to go buy this. But I have it in my stash, so I'm going to use it. Okay. All right, so again, this is just to kind of mimic the journal page, or you can just do this project. You don't even have to have the journal, right? Or the notebook. Just get out a piece of paper, any kind of cardstock. You know what would have been great, I could have done is junk mail, right? Anything like that. And like I said, later, I'm going to use these pieces that I work on. Excuse me. And I'll make tags and things. In fact, I may even pull them out in another video and we'll make some things with them. But now I don't do a lot of work with the gesso, but I'm going to try it. Now you can also add with some, like put some in a little bowl and add ink and colors and things. I'm just going to leave it white and then probably rub ink or distress ink and stuff over top of it later. Now this has a great big hole. The one I did in my journal was this one, kind of like the honeycomb pattern. I wanted to try this though and see what the difference is. I'm going to start with a little and I know there's all kinds of tools and things to apply this with, but I'm just using this spatula that I have that goes kind of with the Cricut, right? And we can you can also kind of build this up. There's all different brands of this. This is just, again, what I have on hand. I did not go out and buy anything for this. You know, I've dabbled in lots of different creative things through the years, and I just have a lot of stuff. So, all right. I'm going to leave it a little chunky there. Let's see what happens when I lift it up. That looks kind of cool. Now it's going to need time to dry. And again, I do have a heat gun and I used it some on this page, and I actually like where it kind of turned brown in a few places, but you know, you can just let it dry naturally. And you could also start with dry paper. I did let my paper completely dry before I did this. But I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas. Isn't that fun? I love the pattern there. Okay, I have some of this parchment paper laid out on my floor, so I can just lay these down. I want to do one more. Let's just do one more. And this one I'm not going to cover with the sheet music. I am just going to play with some of my stencils. So I'm going to do... And sometimes this one isn't a very thick one. Oh, I have like modeling paste too. Ooh, I wonder if I know where that is, because it'll be a little bit thicker, and I think we can get some thicker layers maybe. Well, I have all these supplies out. I was like, well, let's just get some done. Now see how I made a mess, but it really is okay. I can wipe that off if I want to, but I'm going to leave it. And then I'm going to... This one has like a variety. So let's use some of these. And there's probably, like, you could watch videos and really learn how to do this a lot better than what I'm doing. But again, I just approach it from the, I want to have fun and not worry too much. Which is what my creating with intention is all about. So while I'm playing with this and looking at it, we're telling a tender story today. So I've gathered some other things. And part of what made me think I wanted to do something kind of wild and crazy, for me anyway, y'all may not think this is wild and crazy. I'm peeking, I'm trying not to hit my camera to see if I see my modeling paste. What's this? Ah, look, it's modeling paste. All right, this brand, the same brand, but this is modeling paste instead. And I probably shouldn't mix it, but we'll just grab a little bit. Okay, so see the difference? Thick, right? Then I'll go back to my tender story about my mom. I don't think I want to switch over to the florals. Let's do a little bit of, this is a different honeycomb. Let's put it in here with the modeling paste. Okay, so this is going to go on and lay down very differently, but again, I can build up some layers and things. And if I decide I want to do this on my page, I can. But like I said, I can also come back later. Now you can get it really smooth, or like I said, we can kind of leave some of them nice and chunky. Wasn't that fun? Again, I'm very easily entertained. All right. So I hope you can see the difference. A little bit of texture. I left these thick so when they dry, we're going to get to see some bubble up. So I'll probably rip and tear this up and use it for something later, but I'm just going to set it aside to dry. Wanted to just give you some different ideas. Let's go on this side, and I'm going to grab this one. And I'm going to wash all of these when I'm done with the video. I'm going to grab some modeling paste this time. And, well, I've laid it down. So there we go. I want to see the difference. And, of course, this doesn't have the sheet music on it. And I could have gone right on to the notebook paper if I wanted to. Or put down a piece of scrapbook paper. Again, if you don't have the sheet music, that's fine. All right, let me pull this up and then I'll be able to start focusing a little bit more probably. Get a little bit of that off of there. All right. Again, ooh. So have fun, get messy, enjoy. I even have some of those like spray inks somewhere. I have no idea where, but might be interesting on here. I guess I could have got more supplies out, but that is super interesting. That's the modeling paste, and this is the gesso, okay? And then when they dry, they'll have a little bit different texture too, okay? All right, now I'm gonna set those out of the way, and I do have a washcloth here for my fingers, and all right, I don't want, hopefully these will be okay until after the video. I'm going to get them off over here to be washed in a little bit. I have my floor all set up. All right. I'm just cleaning my hands really quick. And I actually cleaned my mat some. I don't know if you guys can tell. I've been a busy bee today. Okay, let's close these. Wrong one. That's for the nori paste. So again, I will try to link these for you guys in case you're interested in what I have, but there's all different kinds of brands, different price points on these items. So, you know, just look and see what you think will work for you if you want to try them out. And the stencils I have just collected through the years, and they're, again, different brands. And of course you can use these, and I may use some with ink as well. It's how I primarily tend to use mine, I believe. That would be fair to say. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Sally. And our little tiny fluffy dog, her name was Nikki. And, oh, this is her handwriting. Sally and Pam, January 1978, in park across the street. So that was in the park across the street from where we lived. And this is when we lived in Memphis, Tennessee. And it snowed, and we were pretty excited about the snow. So, and that hat my mom's wearing, not mine. Mine, I think, was store-bought. This one was crocheted by my grandmother. And I love her plaid coat. It is faded. And it's been scanned, and this is the original, obviously. It was in one of those old sticky photo albums for years. But this is the original, and I'm going to use it today because this is my journal, and a journal I'm going to be keeping. So anyway, there's Sally and Nikki. And I'm one of those lucky people that just had a great mom, and I could tell you guys lots of sweet stories. But right now, I think one of the things I even said in I'm going to add some ink. One of the things I said, I'm going to walk over here and get a different ink pad. Is I could tell you guys so many different stories. I really can. And I know not everyone, I guess, has that, the relationship. Just trying to pick the colors that I want. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I had a great mom. So let me try to think. So when we got Nikki, she was the runt of the litter. She was a toy poodle, and so she was gifted to my mom by, I guess, I don't know, now that I think of it. I don't know who gave her Nikki, but she was a gift. And I'm going to get some of these out. And my mom loved her. That I was 8 years old in that picture, so Nikki would have been 2 because we got her when I was 6. I'm hoping this is going to work. Yeah. This is an old Stampin' Up ink pad. This is Old Olive. If any of you guys did Stamping Up, you probably liked Old Olive. I could get the handle out to make this easier for myself. Why don't I do that? I may just have to pull one off, but that's okay. That's why I have them. All right, to make this easier. But anyway, we got her when I was 6, and we brought her home, and she was so tiny. And like I said, she was the runt. And my mom had a little box, like bigger than a shoe box, but not much bigger. And I got out some of my little doll blankets, and we made her a bed. All right, I'm going to leave that there because I also got out Regal Rose. And we'll see how the green and the pink go together, because my mother loved green and pink together during the preppy years. In the 80s, she was a big into all the pink and green and all of that. She was very stylish. As you can tell from her outfit in the picture, even though it's faded. She was very stylish. She was a very beautiful woman. Anyway, there's so many fun stories. But even though I was a little girl, my mom let me, take care of Nikki, and I played with her like I did with my dolls. That's kind of fun and pretty. So, I'm going to see what happens if I just take a little bit of this. See how that starts to pop up, and brush some of the honeycomb. I like that. And I have so many memories. A lot of my memories of my mom, like we were so close and we talked every day. But also center around once I had my kids. All right, I'm going to set this aside too so I don't get it all over me. And I remember when my son, who was my firstborn, was just a few months old. I remember talking with my mom and telling her that I literally had no idea. Like, I had no idea how much I was going to love him. And it made me realize, even though she and I were so close and everything, for the first time, how much, she must really love me. And we cried. And she said, yeah, there's no way to explain it until you experience it. And I definitely don't think that, like if you don't happen to have children, you can't understand that. But the kind of conversations she and I were able to have just meant the world to me. So anyway, I'll tell more Sally stories another time. Let me tell you about the words I picked out. I saw this somewhere and had written it down in my little, where I write down words. and it's about joy. It says joy doesn't have to wait until the hard stuff is over. It can simply exist in simple, ordinary moments alongside the mess. Joy isn't a reward for overcoming pain. It is the practice that helps us get through it. And don't panic here, but I'm about to tear this, and I have a whole reason why I'm going to do it. And I didn't panic either. I would say my mom taught me a lot about how to get through life, right? And how to live with joy. She had the best laugh. And, there's a lot of grief in life. And you guys know I'm going through so much right now with my aunts. And of course, it brings up all those thoughts of mortality and change and isolation from people you love and all of the things. And I often, will think to myself, what would my mother say or do? And I would hope she would be proud of me with how I'm handling it. But she would also remind me that it's okay to be excited about the good things happening, to want to, be with my kids, as well as help, take care of my aunts. I mean, all of the things, that kind of pull you around and apart. All right, I'm going to try to use the nori paste to lay down the fabric. I think it's going to work great. I don't know. I'm just rambling. But for me, when I thought about telling a tender story, well, of course, I thought about my mom. And then I also thought about, she had so many skills and so many interests, and she was a teacher, and she would love this project. I know she would, and being intentional about the time I'm spending, because I'm doing this, now instead of a full-time job. But this is because it's what I love, and this is who I am, and I want to share it with people. But I also want to not forget why I'm here and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, that makes me, I have so many fun fabrics. So now I'm thinking we're going to need to find some fabrics. Even though I said we were going to stop talking about Sally, I kept talking, didn't I? All right, I'm going over to one of my mini fabric drawers. You would think that I was more of a fabric creator. No, I have more paper than I do fabric. But I have some lovely fabrics. I'm trying to pick some things that I think, she loved the color red, which is one of the reasons I chose that first piece I just put down. And I'm struggling a little bit. Oh, here's like a stack of like fat quarters. That'll probably work. And I have, of course, all of my hankies and doilies. Okay. And I feel like I'm not going to have enough room to put everything I want on this crazy, beautiful page, but we will make it through. Oh, she would have liked that too. I think I told you guys she decorated, not that there was a rooster on there, but she did. She decorated an entire kitchen with roosters. All right, I know this looks kind of like, Pam, why are you picking that? But I was just talking about, she was my mom and when I had my babies. So there we go. I'm going to make this very eclectic. All right. What did I say? A little goes a long way. Okay. All right. I forget how much I like working with this, actually. And again, you can make it go even further by having a little water there with it. I do love a stripe. Oh, I have my pinking shears, let's do, all right, I have kind of a rectangle and I have that long strip. Maybe, I think I want to go this direction. I think I'm going to add this right beside here. Too much water. Okay, fun, fun, fun. I'll just leave that in there. All right. So I'm getting some different textures layered, and it's okay if these things also kind of end up covered up because I know they're there, and that's part of the point, right? All right, this is the green I was using. Let's get some green. Ooh, that's kind of pretty how that picked up. And I could always put it back in the old olive. Okay. Now, the reason I did this is the idea, that Mama's not here. Now we're still together in the picture, but that we're separated, but that she's still right here. And that was kind of the imagery I had in my mind when I thought about tearing the photo. And I definitely want my quote. And I definitely want to find a way to incorporate the card. Now, I don't mind if it's not like a prominent part of the page. I may have to make a tuck spot for it, or even maybe a hidden kind of spot for it. So I'm going to think about that. Let's think about that next. So let's get another piece of our sheet music. And I have an idea. I hope I'm in camera. I have so many supplies out right now that it is a little challenging to keep everything where I hope you guys can see it. And I don't normally have water out on my desk, and I didn't put much in the cup, but I'm trying to be extra, extra careful. All right, we're gonna fold this because I'm gonna make some kind of something for my card. And we'll end up decorating over top of it too. This isn't super fragile, but I'm thinking I want multiple layers of the paper just so that I don't have to worry. And I think, all right, that'll definitely fit in there. And I don't think I need all 4 layers. So I'm just going to tear it here. And I'm going to do a little bit of this ink, but I think I want to grab some of this green again. Let's see, some ink just sitting right there. Let's just use that. And then once I lay it down, we can do some fabric and even some stenciling over this piece too, so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. I'm going to leave the green open for now. All right, so if I make this a pocket, and I think I'll make it a top load pocket. And because of all of the layers, there, I think that's what I want to do. So now I have that nice edge, and I don't have to worry about it getting messed up. Okay. All right, so all I did was I have a piece of paper that I'm going to glue together, again, to get the double thickness. And then I am folding one portion just right over so that this will be the top of my pocket, and it gets that reinforced edge. Okay, and it looks nice and scrappy. And when I put it here, I'm going to stencil over top of it again, I think. Maybe I will do that before I glue it down. And it needs to be the green, right? I'm going to do some of the green. And it doesn't have to be all matchy-matchy. Whoops. And there's some glue oozing out. But I will fix that too. And again, there are people that are so good at using all these different things. I tend, as you guys know, I tend to stick to a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of fabric occasionally, lots of paper, lots of, you know, I like folding and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But this is fun. I'm having fun. I'm not the best when I get too messy, though. I get a little bit anxious. All right, I have just regular Old Baby wipes, and these are not super moist because the pack's old. And I bought them, you know, just for crafting. It's just sometimes I can't find them. I'm just going to wipe that excess glue off. And these are also, of course, good for your hands, and they smell good. Okay. Now I'm going to use, of course, my regular glue here because I want just the thin bead to install this as a pocket. And I hope I haven't made it too narrow for my card. If so, I'll just trim the card up. And I realized that I'm probably going to need to use hot glue right here on this edge with that fabric. All right. Here we go. Now, I don't know if that's going to fit in there or not, but I do know one thing that will make it a little easier to slide in is if I back it. Well, I don't know if I want to use that. I was thinking I could back it onto there. How about just some book page? If I put it here, it'll just have some nice font on the back. I don't necessarily want to see the blue car. Set that up there. We'll put it about right here. All right, just to give it a touch more thickness. And nothing is perfect with this project. We are just slowing down, enjoying our supplies and what we're working on. Okay. A little bit of ribbon. Let me first find out if I'm going to have to. Yeah, I really closed this up. Best made plans. Now I could put a whole nother pocket right on top of it and keep going with the layers. But you know, instead, I think instead of even trying to, I am just going to make it skinnier. And that's okay. All right. Ooh, wait, you know what I just thought of? I just tossed that in my trash bin. I think I tossed it in the trash bin. It must have missed because I don't see it. I don't really want to dig around on the floor. I was thinking I could have kept the frame and maybe put it around it on the pocket. But look at that. Now it fits in nicely. As I looked through my garbage and did not see it, that was very disconcerting. Okay, what color? Do I want to use a pink or a red? maybe a little bit of this corally color. Sally was not afraid of some color. She had some of the, like I said, she definitely had a sense of fashion. And I was a teenager in the 80s. I was born in 1970. I'm just telling y'all everything today. And anyway, I was a teenager in the 80s, and my mom and I would share clothes and things too, because like I said, I mean, she was very hip and fashionable, and she had great jewelry, you know, all the 80s stuff. And she would like all these different colors. Again, she did not shy away from color. We had those purses. Do y'all remember them with the wooden handles and the button covers, and you could change them to match your outfits? It was amazing. Okay, Mama and Pam. I don't want to cover up all of my pink. Maybe that. Now, I'm trying to decide if I want to do the photo like this or really separate it. I think I kind of like it this way because I don't think we're super separated. I think, you know, I know where my mama is, and I hope that's where I will be going to see her one day. And I think she's even with me right now, and I know that. But there's just a veil, you know, she's just gone from my sight, not gone. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes, especially when I wish she was here to help me through all the emotions and feelings. My aunt, the one that has dementia, really, I was always very close to her, but after my mother died, she and I became, we may have to put some more pink fabric down since I covered a lot of that up. She really stepped up, you know, however we want to say that, after my mom died. I think this goes right here, you know, but I'm not going to put it down yet. This is going to need a touch of this. And what else are we going to need? It's going to need a touch right here. I keep forgetting I have fabric and all these other things on here. And I'm sure there's different adhesives that would be great with these types of projects. But like I said, I could easily go down a rabbit trail and start all kinds of different different craft mediums. And that's why I don't do it too often, because I really, really like paper. That's really, really, really where my heart is, I think. Yeah, I'm liking the stripe and just a little bit of the babies. All right, we'll use some of this paste, and we may supplement later with a little bit of hot glue, but we'll see. I think as long as I just give things time to dry, we're going to be fine. But I'm trying to just barrel right through this, aren't I? Okay, I've got my intention card. Oh, how fun. I'm loving it. I want to check on these. I know they're not going to be ready yet, but I was thinking a portion of one of these might be fun later. That'll be a later kind of thing, Pam. Not a this crafting session kind of thing. Okay. All right, I'm going to get this down, and then I have some ideas to really, hopefully, pull it together even more. We are going with tried and true hot glue. I'll get more up under here. Okay. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I definitely need a heart because this is my mama. And I think I want to, what do I want to make the heart of? I think I want it to be a hand cut heart. Now I could definitely make it out of fabric, can't I? Let me again look at my fabrics that I pulled out. This one is more of a red with the stripe. Let's see what happens. I have no idea if I try to cut it with the pinking shears, but let's just see because I think it might be fun. And if I don't like it, I don't have to use it. I think those are the things to remind ourselves too, is, you know, just try something. And somebody commented recently something about, you know, you're able to just move and think and, you know, so quickly. I don't want to cover up all the snow. And, you know, I've been crafting a long, long time, but it's also taken me quite a while to remember, again, things don't have to be perfect. Sometimes done is a little better than perfect, right? I've talked about that many times. I'm going to cut a smaller one with a portion of this stripe. You know, and because I love crafting so much, if I don't know why I'm struggling. This one is a lot more flimsy, thinner. How's that? Anyway, if I worried too much, I would never really get to craft. That's fun, and I think it kind of brings in some of the colors of the trees. We've got the hearts. I definitely like that. Okay, let's put these down. I'm trying to go thin with this because I feel like I have maybe been doing too much. I don't know. All right, I did two. One for me and one for Mama. Could probably do a little teeny tiny one for Nikki, the puppy pup. Yeah, that's grabbing. I like this paste. Yeah, let's do a little heart for little Nikki. I may do hers out of paper. And again, I'll hand cut it, but let's just try it. We'll see. And if you're not confident, you know, in cutting hearts, you can draw them out and cut them. Something I think I shared with you guys, my mom was so good at cutting out hearts. She, again, was like a first grade teacher. She definitely could do the crafts. So I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. I'm going to use hot glue because of the fabric. I guess I could use the nori paste. I forgot about that. Oops. To go see my aunts in Birmingham and take care of some business stuff and all of that, all the things we have going on. But I'm going to take some of the family pictures. My aunt and I have looked at the ones that she has at her house many times, and she doesn't really remember, so that's great. But I mean, she doesn't remember that we've looked at them. She's still remembering the people in the photos and telling me who people are, and I got them all labeled. So I'm going to bring some of my others that I'm hoping she's still going to be able to help me with when I go this time. All right, I am going to, I don't even know what's in all of these bins because I have, again, so much stuff and pieces and scraps that I don't always look at them. So we're going to just pull out some different pieces too for our page. I like that. And again, this is slow drying, so it gives you the opportunity to kind of move things too, which is nice. All right, there's my joy. I was thinking Yeah, there we go. I'm going to get the 1978 on here. It was a winter storm. Does that go there? Yeah, I want to make it very clear that it is, the picture was 1978. All right. It's so fun to collage with this. See, I am used to Mod Podge though, that kind of grabs a little bit quicker. So we'll just have to see. Whoops, see how it wiggles around? Which I like because I can change my mind. I feel like that heart needs something else. And I might even, let's get some paper, since I love paper. And I'm going to write Mama, Pam, and Nikki. And see what that looks like. All right. So I've got, and that's what I called my mom, was Mama. And then Pam and Nikki. Mama, Pam, and Nikki. All right. I'm gonna have to rewrite Nikki. I tore it too close. That's okay. That's why we have lots of paper. And I think I want to add some ink. So if that one goes there, and we'll put that one there. Yeah, I'm going to rewrite Nikki. And then, and we spelled it N-I-K-I. And you know what's funny too is that I had a best friend growing up. After we lived in Memphis, we moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and her name was Nikki. I had two really good girlfriends when we lived in Louisville, and one was Nikki and one was Michelle, and they lived next door to each other, but then right across the street from me. And we were very good friends. Ah, that's cute. I think that adds a little something. Because I'm not the most patient, I'm going to use my hot glue. I don't want to worry about those flying away. Fly away. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I like how that's drying though. It feels really good. I don't know. What else do I want to do? Now again, you can interpret the intentions and the projects any way you want. You don't have to do a collage page, you know. I guess it probably didn't do as much mixed media as some others would have if this was their project. Some fun other kind of inks and splashes might have been cool. Let me see. I used to know where those were because, you know, I have, oh, I don't know if this is them or not, but let's see. Was hoping for some maybe in a spray. These are alcohol inks, which kind of do different things. What is this? Champagne mist. Wonder how you use that for fabric. Iron designs to cure the ink. Other materials, heat setting not required. Let's see what this is. It's called, I don't know. I don't even know what it looks like when I open it, if I can open it. Ooh. I guess you're supposed to use like a paintbrush. I have a paintbrush. I have a paintbrush. Let's see. Ooh, it's very, very thin. Ooh, it's going to give some shimmer. Yeah, I covered up almost all of that I did with the honeycomb. But I know it's there. Ooh, look at that. That's so pretty. Can you guys see the shimmery effect? Ooh, I didn't even know I had this. I think this might have been in the craft supplies that I got from that lady a couple of years ago. Oh, I'm loving it. Okay. And sometimes, you know, I don't get around to using everything, and I obviously should pay a little more attention to that. Look, it kind of just goes right over. It's like a mist. I'm going to mist the whole quote. All right, I may be getting a little too zealous here, because I really don't want to see all those brush strokes. It goes over the fabric too. This is crazy. Okay. I think that looks good. We'll have to see when it dries if we like it. And it's not, I don't think it's smearing the words too much. Okay, I'm going to stop. Little goes a long way. I probably kind of overdid that a little. But it's probably hard to tell, but there is just this shimmer. I don't know what this is. All-purpose ink for Fantastics. If you guys know what it is, let me know. All right, these are alcohol inks, and I don't really think, and this is Stickles. I don't really think alcohol inks are supposed to just put like right onto paper. Ooh, I'm probably gonna end up with stuff all over me, because here's a lid. Like, that's scary, Pam. Did one get thrown in here without a lid? Or is it just an extra lid in case you lose them? That one's called Eggplant. Anyway, I have done like really fun like ceramics and stuff with these. Ugh, no idea if this is gonna like be a complete disaster. Yeah, see, they're a little dried, and I'm probably gonna end up with stuff all over me. All right, let's put it. Oh, yeah, I'm glad I put it on here and not my project. Let it run. That's very, very dark purple. I don't think I want that on my project. Look at how it, just that one little drop, like it really soaked through. I'm going to get that out of the way so that I don't make a mess. But, you know, I'm having trouble now not wanting to put just a drop somewhere. Butterscotch sounded good. Here's caramel. That's probably safer than going with one of the darker colors. These are obviously, well, I know they're at least from back when I lived in Florida. And let's see, because the alcohol inks were mine, because I was really into that for a little while. We moved here in 2010, and these were probably a couple of years old at that point. All right. Woo. All right, so what I was trying to do was just get a little on the paper. I didn't know if it would then be enough to drip down. It's a little bright. And again, this isn't how you're supposed to use these. Permanent, fast-drying, transparent, acid-free to create vibrant, polished effect on non-porous substances. Right? I wonder what it would look like. Ooh, that was kind of fun. Ooh, okay, enough. No more. I'm getting it all over me. I got a little bit there. Well, of course, now I have to have just a touch somewhere. We got to have the odd number, right? So maybe. I like the little tiny ones that are popping out. Okay, done. I promise I'm done this time. I am going to pick up my rag, wipe my fingers off, because no telling what I have all over me. That piece is kind of cool. I'll save that for a project. or to stick on here later. Now, I do have, and I don't do this on camera very often because I think the sound's probably annoying, but I am going to hit this with my heat gun just really quick to see if we can see what it's going to look like with some of these things dry a little more. And all right, that's closed. That's closed. This is going to be closed. Sometimes I have to step away when I'm doing this kind of weird collaging look. All those little ink specks. The dried ink from the bottle got on my paper. But I knew better, and I kept going, didn't I? I definitely like the little dots that were the little happy drops. Okay, I'm going to just do just a touch. Just wanted to see what the glimmer does and where I might need just a touch more glue. Okay. Sorry about that. I hope it wasn't too annoying. All right, some things are still a little wet, but it is not bad. I'm trying to decide if I want to use this. I kind of like this color better than how that dropped. So I think I will just, here, I'll just use the hot glue because it's right here and it's going to be a portion on the fabric. There we go. And I want to give this a touch. Yeah, I think when this dries, it's going to be great. I'll put a picture up of it in the community tab later. And maybe when I get back from Birmingham, y'all may have to remind me. But I'm here tomorrow, so if it's dry tomorrow, I can. I'm going to definitely let it, I'm going to turn off the hot glue, dry overnight. Okay, so our intention, we are telling a tender story. And of course, I said some stories don't need much. Sometimes simple says enough. And here I am doing something wild and crazy that I think my mom would have liked. She wasn't crazy or too wild, but she definitely wasn't afraid to try new things. And yeah, look, and we were from Florida. This would have been one of the first years we were in Tennessee. And we didn't even have snow boots. We both have on, looks like Converse tennis shoes. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, thumbs up, drop me a comment. Tell me one of your stories if you like. And if you're playing along, I'd love to see what you're making. Thanks, everybody. Take care.